Today we will be installing MySQL Server and Workbench. I will also show you how to connect your Java application to your MySQL database. So first you'll want to go to the site here, and I'll have the links in the description below. So we're just going to leave everything by default and click on the top download button. So it's going to take you to this page. Just click on the link below. It's going to tell you to save the file somewhere. And then once the file has been downloaded, just click on it to start the installer. So since we only want MySQL Server and Workbench, we're going to do a custom installation. And then we just want to add MySQL Server. I chose the most updated version, so just select the most top version. And we'll want to do the same thing for Workbench. So we're just going to find Workbench, hit next, and we're going to download these files. So just hit execute. Wait for the files to be downloaded, and then hit next. So now we're going to install it. Just hit execute again. And once it's complete, just hit next. Then hit next. We're just going to leave everything default here. So just hit next again. Again, next. Alright, so here we need to place a password for our server. This is going to be very important, so keep this password safe. And don't forget it, because we're going to need it to connect to our server. So hit next, leave everything by default, hit next again. So now we're going to apply all the configurations that we just made and just hit execute. Alright, so hit finish, and we're just going to launch Workbench now. So I'm going to show you guys how to create a new MySQL connection. So we're just going to hit this plus button here and just name the connection anything you want. I just named it users database. So here I'm going to test the connection, and it's important that you know the password because that's how you're going to connect to your database. Click on the schema tab here to view all the current schemas that we have. Currently we only have one, and this comes by default. So we're going to create our own schema, and we do this by clicking on this button here. And you can name your schema anything you like. I'm going to name it login schema. Once you're done, just hit the apply button below. And then just hit apply again. Then finish. So now we've successfully created our schema. So now let's create our table. So in order to do that, click on the drop down menu. You want to right click and click on create table. So you can name the table anything you want. I'm going to name it users. So now to create fields, you just need to select one of these checkboxes and it'll add a new field for you. We're going to make the ID field first, and it's going to be our primary key for our table. And it's also going to be non-nullable, which basically just means that the value can't be null. And we're also going to select AI, which means auto increment. And what this basically does is we're going to give MySQL, or our database, the authority to manage this value for us. Essentially, it's just increasing the value of the ID, which is an integer, by 1 for every new data that gets entered into our database. So now I'm going to enter 2 more fields. It's going to be username and password. And the data type for these would be string. But in MySQL, they don't have a string data type, but they have a varchar data type, which is essentially the same. Once you're done, hit the apply button, and then you want to hit the apply button again. And our users table should be made. Check this by clicking down the drop down menu to see our table. And then we can also see the fields of our table, which is going to be the ID, username, and password. So let's test this table out. We're going to do a simple insert statement. And this is an easy way to do it. Just right click and then copy to clipboard and select the insert statement, which will generate an insert statement code for us. So remember, I chose auto increment for the ID. Well, because of that, we don't need to set a value for ID users. We can just remove it like this, and the value will be managed by our database. So I'm just going to enter username and password that we're going to enter into our database like this, and then hit this execute button, this lightning bolt button, and it'll execute the SQL code, and it's going to insert the data into our database. You can see here that it tells us that it was successfully entered. So let's actually check this out. We're going to create a select statement, and we're going to select all the data from our users table, and we should see the data that we just inserted. And there you go. Our data is right here. And notice that in ID, the value is auto incremented to 1. So now I'll show you how to connect your MySQL database with your Java application. So you'll want to go to this site here. I'll also include the link in the description below. For the operating system, just select Platform Independent. Then download the zip file, which is going to be the bottom download button. Click on the link below, and you're going to save the file somewhere. And you just wait for the download to finish. Once it's done, extract the file to a destination folder. So what I do is I have a folder named Java Libraries where I store all of my external Java libraries. So I already have the folder extracted, but I'm going to do it again just to show you guys. So this jar file will contain methods that we can use to access our MySQL database, and we're going to import it to our Java application. Alright, so now let's go to IntelliJ. First, we will create a lib folder where we will place the jar file that we just downloaded. To do that, right-click on the project folder and hit New, and then click on Directory. So we're going to name the folder lib. Next, we'll store a copy of the jar file into this lib folder. So find the jar file and then copy it. Just directly copy it to the lib folder. So next, what we want to do is include the path to our jar file in our project structure. In order to do that, click on File at the top left, then click on Project Structure. Go to the Modules tab, and then make sure you're in the Dependencies tab, which is right here. Next, hit the plus button, and then click on Add a new jar file. So find the jar file in your project's lib folder. Once you found it, highlight it, and hit OK, then hit Apply, and then OK. So let's see how we can use this in a quick example. So first, let's make a class. I'm going to call it MyJDBC, and MyJDBC basically stands for Java Database Connectivity. Alright, so let's make our main method. First, we need to connect to the MySQL database, and we do this by creating a connection object. This class can only be called when we imported the library that we did earlier. And we'll do this using the getConnection method. So this method will take in 3 different parameters: the database URL, the database username, and the database password. So for the database URL, it's structured like this. It's going to be JDBC :MySQL : and the URL in the My Workbench. And we can find it in here. So we'll just put that value in. It's going to be 127.0.0.1 : :3306. And a dash and the schema that we are going to be working in, which is going to be the login schema. So the username and password that we're going to use is going to be the one that we created earlier in the setup. To create a query, we're going to be creating a statement object using the statement class. And we are going to store the results of the query in a result set object. We're going to create a simple query selecting all of the data stored in the users table. So we're going to execute this query, and it's going to return to the result set. So as long as there's data to be read, we're going to keep iterating through our result set until we reach the end. So to get the username and password data from our result set, we're going to be using the getString method, which will take in the field name as its parameter, like this. Keep in mind though, you may need to use a different method like getInt if the field is returning a different data type. So we're getting an error right now because we need to put these lines of code in a try-catch block. We're going to be catching an SQL exception. And we're just going to print out the error if something happens. So we're going to take these lines of code and move them to the try-catch block. Like this, and it should be okay. So now let's run the app. So the values that we're expecting should be the username and password that we created just a moment ago. Yep, like that. So to compare the answers, let's see what MySQL has. So we're going to use the same select statement and we execute it. Yeah, there you go. So the values are the same. If this tutorial helped you out, I heard that leaving a like and subscribing will help improve your programming skills. And if you are interested in doing some beginner projects, you should check out this tutorial.